Welcome, guys, to another episode of the DDC podcast. I'm here with a very special guest. We have another member of the DDC Familia joining us today to share her journey about fitness. Her name is Mareana. Welcome, Mareana. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. I really wanted her to join today's podcast video if you're watching this, because she's having such an amazing success, such an amazing journey, and she's inspiring so many women that you have no idea. I'm going to put her transformation pictures here so you guys can see. They are all on my Instagram as well. And I just want you, Mareana, to share more about your journey, because I know it hasn't been an easy one. I know this, there's been things, life happening, things happening, but you're here. You are making moves. You are being successful. You have changed your lifestyle so much, which is something I personally find so inspirational. So let me stop talking and you introduce yourself. Tell us more about you. Like, who was Mareana before she joined the program?
Cool. Kia ora. First of all, thank you so much, Danny, for having me on the podcast today. And yes, my name is Mareana and Raukura. And before I joined DDC, I actually went, I'll call it burnout. So before I decided to join DDC, I was not in the best place. However, because I knew I wasn't in the best place, I was starting to take action on what I should do and what I needed to do, what I needed to work on. I'm a mum myself as well, so I have two beautiful children, and they were my priorities. So I had to make decisions around them as well. And as a mama, your cup's got to be your cup's got to be filled before you can give back to anyone else. So I've had to make those decisions, hard decisions, and I just can't believe. So, I was doing CrossFit. I was always active. I had my Sunday meal prep and whatnot. However, things were not consistent. I wasn't happy with my body shape. I wasn't happy with what I look like. But I think that also came from internally as well, not just the outside. And I guess my lifestyle was just full on. As Danny already knows the nitty gritty parts, my life was just basically up at 6 o'clock in the morning, in bed by 9 o'clock, but it was just all go, go, go. Mum, dropping kids off, training, working, and because the CrossFit club, the community, you were able to take kids, so that worked for me. However, I was still not keeping a healthy lifestyle, let's say. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I know obviously that was a hard decision, because it's not easy, especially when you have kids, to put yourself first, because you knew at that time, I need to look after myself first if I want to look after my kids. Was that like a really hard decision for you to make? Like, I need to take some time off for myself just to, improve myself, and then I'm going to be able to give my kids my 100%.
Definitely was. It was never easy, and I guess, but for me, I knew that me and their dad always had a good relationship. Even not being together, our priorities are our kids. And I knew that because like I said, they come first, I knew that they needed to be in the best hands, and I knew that they needed a village around them, a whānau. So I just knew that I had to ask for him to take on the other, being a mum and dad this time round, so that I could work on myself and actually identify the things that I needed to work and needed to change. There were these moments. Yep, I've been to doctors. I've been in and out of the hospital because in terms of my calcium levels, all that sort of thing. Um, and and I guess this time round, just being on DDC, is that I've been just given tools to be able to cope with my struggles, I guess. You know, every week I'm missing my kids. Every week I'm thinking about them. There's always tears every week, but it's, you know, every week, every day I'm gaining tools. I am managing myself so that I know it's okay to express. It's definitely okay to cry for 10 minutes or so. Um, but it's knowing that my kids are in the best hands of all
Mm-hmm.
time, and they are super lucky because they get the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they get the best of both worlds by their dad in Auckland, and then they get the best of both worlds, you know, best part of me when they're here with my whānau. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something I always tell you is like you're so strong. You're so strong for making that decision because obviously that's not easy. Like it's not easy to, move to a different city just to look after yourself. And then your kids are so young and they're so far away. But I know you always care about them because you always talk about them. You always can see them. You always want to spend time with them. So I just want to remind you like how strong you are. And thank you for sharing that with us. I know it's not easy, but I think this can be sometimes a wake-up call for someone else. Because sometimes we feel like
Yeah,
we need to do everything ourselves, which we do, yes, but there's a time that you have to be like, enough is enough. If I don't do something for myself right now, how am I going to be able to give that energy that I want to give to my kids or to my mom or to my sister, whoever is around you that you want to help that person? It's always good to, it's not being selfish, but it's just doing more for yourself so that you can give more to other people. And that's something that,
absolutely.
yeah, sometimes it's not seen as normal because it's seen like, oh, this is so selfish. Like, why will you do this? You're a mom first, you do this, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no one can tell you what to do. Like, you know what's best for you. You know what's best for you and
Yeah.
your kids. So, yeah, well done for doing that. And something else that you mentioned before, and it's something you mentioned to me as well, is that you have an amazing physique. But before, like you were not very secure with the way your body looked. Like even though people will tell you, you have like a really CrossFit physique, like you have really nice definition, really nice upper body,
Yeah.
really nice legs. That's what people tell you. But then you on the inside, you don't feel that. You see something else.
Yeah.
Like what? How? Yeah. How
Um,
do you see yourself?
I it was probably because it's come from okay, even when I was a young age, a funny, this is gonna be a funny story if my friends do listen to me. Um well, I wouldn't say funny, but when I was back at boarding school, there was like a period where I just gained weight like quite fast.
Hmm.
Um and they say that female boarding schools gain weight more and male boarding school actually lose weight. Like, yeah, boys. Anyway, and I gained weight quite fast, and I knew it was like I knew that I had gained weight, but it was the fact that other people noticed that I gained weight too. And yeah, so I was kind of like, and because I've come, I played sports during school, um, and I think just the period of I think it was like within the 2 years, I just knew that like my insecurities just went like came crashed, like was real low. So I was not confident in wearing like shorts. I wasn't confident in wearing like dresses. I wasn't confident in wearing like anything that showed
Oh.
like above knee, like mm-mm. And I wasn't even that big, but because I've always been a small person,
Mm.
a petite person built, um, I guess that just being yeah, just coming from like 49 to like 68 real fast, that's huge.
Mhm.
And so from then I've always been insecure. And then from then on, when I ended up finishing off my last years at high school, I started getting back into sport. But the great thing about it is that I did clubs. It always required a lot of training.
Mhm.
So, and then so from then, and then my whānau always went to like what do you call it? Like box fit,
Mm.
circuit training. And then so I started getting into that, and then it's like I've never stopped from then on, and it's always been a part of my life being active. Whether it was getting back into social sports, social touch, as I got older, and knowing that being a mum as well.
Mm.
Being a mum drives you, man, to be the best version of yourself. It's crazy what like being a mum can like make you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and you learn so much about yourself as well. So
Yeah, but that's just
yeah.
funny. That shows how like people, they see you one way and they might look at you and they might look up to you, but then on the inside you feel something else. Like you feel completely different. Like they don't see the insecurities that you feel inside. But how do you feel now, like with yourself? Like, do you feel like you still have those insecurities? Is it the same as before? Not as much? Or like, how do you deal with that feeling?
Yeah, so since being on this journey, DDC with you, Daniela, it's been absolutely like it's been a blessing in my life actually, because even though like the other like you've heard me message you, you've had me
Oh,
message you like, oh, I need like the small toes,
yeah,
I need
yeah.
like rah. But it's funny because I say that, but on the inside, I'm actually so happy with
Mm.
like what I look like, my progression, and I'm so because I used to be like, oh my god, this cellulite, but it's like it's not even that bad.
Yeah.
But I'm so like I just don't care at all. Like I just can't believe my confidence has just. I mean, because I know that I've been confident.
Hmm.
I'm quite a confident person, but I've always had other insecurities. But ever since being on this journey and with you, it has just like the climb is just incredible. Yeah.
Mm.
And I thank you so much for just being by my side and guiding me through that, because sometimes it's just the internal, it plays a big part. It's not just the outside, it's wanting to make that change internally. And because once that's great internally, it shows on the outside. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, you're like a pretty confident person, and like I knew that from day one. But I've watched you like grow even more. Like your confidence levels, even though you were up here, it's just like I would say like more up here, if that even makes sense. But it's just like you
Yeah.
feeling better about yourself, feeling better about the way your body looks, feeling better about the way your legs looks. Because I know your legs were like was like I would say maybe the main point that you didn't like too much about yourself, like your booty, your legs, even though you have an amazing lower body section. But yeah, it's just one of those things that you learn along the journey. Like it's mindset, like I say, it's everything. It's so how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself. And like once you start feeling better and once you change that narrative in your brain, it's like a little switch that like changes everything. And when did you realize, because obviously, before you joined the program, you were not in the right
Mm,
place, but when did you realize, okay, now is the right time for me to start with my fitness journey? Now is the right time for me to do something about this.
coach. Um, so at the time, I knew I had a lot to do, like before I even moved to Wanganui. That was the
Mhm.
starters. Um, and then I knew that I wanted to see my kids. Um, and after I had taken them back, I thought to myself, I was like, this is my time. This is my time to give back to myself. That's what I told myself. I need to give back to myself, and I've actually always wanted to do body sculpting as well. So that's always been a goal in my life. Um, but then when you do follow some coaches like beforehand, you kind of you're I guess for me, you're not studying, but you're looking at, okay, what are their
Style.
aspirations, or what are their from a client, what are they wanting to achieve and to help clients, I guess. And the main one was for you, Daniela, was the lifestyle, and I wanted to make things more around the lifestyle, because I got sick. I got sick, and my well-being was real low, and a lot of things happened for me, and I gained anxiety during such a small portion of the time. But new things came along with my health, and I needed to improve that to be able to even, like I said, have the outside sorted. So internally, I needed to sort myself out before I even thought about the outside. But I knew that you were able to give me tools to help me achieve that from the inside to the outside. So yeah, I guess I just knew where I wanted to go, and I knew that I had time on my hands, but I needed to keep myself. I'm such a person where I need to do something, whatever that may look like. I just knew I needed to do something, and I just knew that will be just a good starting point. So yeah, that's how I figured out, I guess, when to sign up with yourself.
Yeah. And like,
maybe that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. But like, look at you now. Like, it's been, I think 4 months. Yeah, 4 months, around 4 months that we've been working together. And like I said before, like, you've made so many changes. And like, the beauty about this, like, you're making this part of your routine, part of your lifestyle, and you're changing things a little bit as well. Because before, you were someone that will do CrossFit. You love CrossFit, and I knew that from day one. But the goals that you have, I was like, if you want to achieve that exact physique, maybe we need to change something. And that's when we introduce like the weight training, resistance training, more like low intensity cardio, nothing too crazy. Like I told you, I still do the things that you like, but if you want that specific goal, we have to be very specific with the things that we're doing. How was that change for you? Did it like affect you in any way? Were you like, I don't know if I should trust her, or I don't know if I should trust the process? Is it really going to help me?
That's such a great question. So during the time that let's say, I think it was about 2 months and 3 months, maybe like 2 months in, I started to miss CrossFit. I started to miss the community. I started to miss the gymnastic challenges that I had gained during my time doing CrossFit. And because I guess the community was also part of my life as well. Just like dancing as well, kapahaka, all those sort of things, they become a part of your life. And Palmy Powerhouse, that was the gym back in Palmerston, they were a part of my life, and I started to miss that a lot. And because obviously when you're doing your resistance training in the gym and your body sculpting, it's quite isolated. It's isolated, and you do end up meeting people along the way, and definitely and it's quite cool because you still hyping each other up from afar and hyping each other when you see each other. But again, when you're doing your specific program, it's isolating. So when those things pop up, I look back on the results that I have. Like the body transformations, it's a powerful tool, like
100%. Yeah.
I can't even explain how powerful it is. It's just, you can just look at that and be like, yeah, well, this is why I'm doing this, this is why I've made these changes. And I guess, as Daniela already knows, that I do eventually want to go back to CrossFit, but I guess it's not doing it 5 to 6 days a week, because that's what I used to do. It was stupid. And it was crazy, you know, like, and it would be crazy because I would have this thought in my head, like, oh, if I had, you know, I should have trained yesterday because I didn't lift heavier today. But that's
Mm.
like, and I've learned to slow down. I've learned that a day off is actually a success as well. So I've honestly, like, yep, I've had struggles definitely during my time in terms of what I've missed and what I've changed. But I have to remember that other things I have gained so much in such a small
Mm.
space of time. Um, and that there itself is just purely powerful. Like, yeah, and that's for anyone, not just for myself. That's for anyone that's on the same journey. Because I know, I so know it's not easy, but it's how you cope with it and how you perseverance, say,
Mm-hmm.
and the gratitude. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all I can say, really. Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, because you just gotta see like, what works for you, what works for your body. Because you used to do CrossFit six
yeah,
times a week, 5 to 6 times a week. And I remember like when you joined the program, one of the things that was like maybe a challenge for you, or maybe you felt like it was annoying, it was like you were not able to lift heavy weights or do a new PB every single week. And that's something that I noticed like for the first few weeks. I didn't mention anything, but I would just hear it on your check-ins, I wouldn't say complaining, but you would just get upset like this week I didn't do a new PB, and I was like, okay, let's just see where she goes with this. And then I told you, I was like, hey, you're not able, you won't be doing a new PB every single week. Like that's impossible. You're not able to lift heavy weights, because if that was the case, by now you'll be lifting 100 kgs on your shoulder press.
mm,
Tomorrow you'll be lifting 200 kgs on leg press, and then 1,000
mm,
kgs. And yeah, I think that's something that I guess like you learned along the way as well, just to like be a little bit, oh, maybe patient with everything.
yeah,
Yeah, patient.
absolutely.
Yeah, patient, and then take some time off. Like it's okay to rest. It's okay to, if your body's telling you, hey, just rest, listen to your body, take that one day off or take that weekend off if you have to. This is not going to ruin your progress at all. This is not going to mess up with all the hard work that you've been doing for the past few weeks, few months. It's just a few days off, and then when you feel better, come back to your training, come back to whatever you're doing. And that's the
Yeah,
beauty again of making it a lifestyle. It's learning when to say no, learning when to take that time off, learning to listen to your body, so you do the what's best for your body, not for your mind, because sometimes the mind is like
yeah,
just like going like non-stop. But
going
it's just
all
like
over. Yeah.
listen to your body. And what about like, are there any other challenges or setbacks that you feel like that were there along the way, along the journey? If yes, how did you overcome those challenges?
The challenges were, again, there have been moments where I sometimes would like start crying at the gym because I'm thinking about my kids.
Mm.
And I think that's just more of like, I wish sometimes I could just drive 20 minutes to see them. But I know that I can't. And it's just, and I guess it's when does it most happen? I think it's just more happens when not trusting the process. That was another one that I wanted to mention too. But I think it's just more of when I'm do miss my other gym community outside of the commercial gym. I guess I start getting to a point where, oh, do I start going like, should I go back? But I really want to go back, but I can't afford that as well. Or and then I'm like, oh, I miss my kids. Like it's like everything that I miss piles up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But how I cope with it is that I give myself a reality check. I keep myself in check and actually say to myself, girl, it's not forever. Like, it's literally only been a few months. look at the progress you've made, and that's a good thing. I can just tap into DDC and look at my progress. That's another thing. Lately, I've been listening to podcast affirmations. So just little things like that motivate me that quickly gets me out of that zone, I guess. Especially when I'm in the space at the gym. Like, who wants to cry at the gym?
I mean, why
like
not?
I could just feel my eyes sometimes. It's not exactly like that people can notice, but I'm like, no, girl. Like, and I sometimes pump up the what's it called? The intensity of the running or the machine. I'm just like, pump up, girl.
Like, yeah.
You got no time. You got no time to cry. Like,
that's a good motivation. That's a good push.
Yeah. So that's a struggle. And another struggle is the first time when I got sick, I think I even messaged you and I said to you, like, I think I'm getting sick and I don't want to be in this space. Because being sick, it's something that I just can't cope with. Like, and I think it's just more of, I hate that feeling of not being able to do something. So I've always found that as like a step back. But I also have to remember to listen to myself. And I'm not a person that actually gets sick all the time. So I think of like how grateful I am to even get sick once a year and just get it a full-on week of it, and then that's it. And I know that I think about other people and other whānau and other kids who actually get sick quite often. So that's another way of me thinking. And I know that we're all humans, but I mean, I've worked in the health industry and I've seen so much. So I guess that's my gratitude and that's my way of thinking, is that I'm so not the only one that's going through this. There's so much other people, and some people are worse off as well. So yeah, that's my chain of thinking anyway.
Yeah, I can see like, a lot of things have changed. And I remember also there was something when you joined the program that I think I told you I don't know if it was the first week or second week. I was like, don't worry too much about the future. Like, stop thinking too much ahead. Stop thinking too many steps ahead. Like, just focus on right now, because there's no point of you trying to organize everything for the next 3 months or trying to organize everything in the next whatever months. You worry about that later. Like, what you can do now is the only thing you can control now. Like, how do you think that's changed? Like, has it changed at all? Has it changed the way you think or the way you do things?
So it has let me celebrate the little things, because to actually get to a bigger goal, we do have to celebrate the little things. Like, obviously you need little steps to even get there. You can't take big steps to get there, because there's always growth, there's always failure, there's always learnings, and sometimes and I know you'll probably notice too, like I'll think about a vision, and then when I'm stuck on that vision, I'm always a person to, okay, what are the steps to get there? I know that I need this, I need that. So I'm always just jumping the gun. But I found that I'm always actually take a step back. What was your first goal? Okay, now that we've achieved that, what's another small goal that I can put in place to get to the bigger picture? And it's been good, because I've actually been living in the moment a lot more. And because being a mum too, and you have to be steps ahead. And so sometimes when you've been living in this cycle of being a step ahead, working out what's going to happen tonight, and this is 7 o'clock in the morning, like, it's like that constant cycle. And because I guess when you're a goal getter as well, all you think about is that end goal, but you put so much pressure on yourself, but you don't really actually think about actually celebrating those small steps to get there. it's a major
Mm-hmm.
it's a major tool, but it's also such an incredible, like a major thing to actually celebrate.
Yeah.
Um, because so much things happen, in that space. So
Yeah.
it's just acknowledging that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I acknowledge other people that small wins, but I've never had been a person to acknowledge myself. So
Yeah. And I feel like that's
yeah,
always the case. Like we always see like the positive things in other people. We always see, the little wins in other people. But then when it comes to ourselves, it's always harder to see those wins. It's always harder to be nicer to ourselves. It's always harder just to, do those things. But it's one of those things that the more you do it, the easier it gets. And then you realize actually, I'm so proud of myself for doing that little thing. I'm so proud of
yeah,
myself for accomplishing that goal that I set for myself last week. Maybe not,
yeah,
it's not your big goal, it's not the end goal, but it's one goal that's going to help you get to the big goal. So it's like those baby steps that help you get there. And what about like
absolutely.
the moments that you were feeling unmotivated? You feel like I don't want to do this anymore, like this is not for me, I just want to quit right now? Because obviously there's been moments that you felt a little bit unmotivated. What will you tell yourself, or what did you do in those times to help you get motivated again?
Um, One was in between sets, especially especially when I get hungry,
Oh yeah.
because like that's like this is just a small example. I get hungry, but for me, I think it's because I know if I don't even finish a set, I'm not going to get results. Like if I'm even gonna not gonna do the whole full 8 to 12 reps,
Mm,
I'm not gonna get results. So, and I think it's just remembering what you signed up for. What you signed up for and knowing your why is so important. It is so important. As much as we have those thoughts in our head that, oh, I'm so unmotivated today, oh, I don't feel like doing this today. It's knowing your why and why you're doing it, and remembering the being in touch with yourself too after the gym. Like I think that's so important when you're in touch with yourself and how you feel, you remember it. Like you remember it. And so when you do have those moments of feeling unmotivated and not wanting to do that, like honestly, I remember those things. And the greatest thing about being on this journey and being on my own journey without my kids, I've been able to be in touch with myself a lot more. Um, Therefore, processing is so important. Like I can't believe how much I can't say how much it's so important, because that way you can actually utilize to help you when you're feeling that way, or when you're feeling low, when you're feeling unmotivated again. It's yeah, knowing your why, knowing the feeling that you have when you do accomplish, and remember what you signed up for.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think like something I always tell you guys is like how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you don't finish those 4 sets, 12 reps that you have in your program, how you gonna achieve your goal if you're not able to even finish one set of 8 reps or 10 reps or whatever it is? It's like
yeah,
getting used to finishing literally everything that you start, whether it's just washing your dishes or whether it's just going to the gym and getting those sets done. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And before we go, I just want you to tell someone, someone is listening to this or watching this, what's one recommendation or something you will tell them if they really want to get started with their fitness journey, but they feel like maybe right now is not the right time? Like, what's something you will say to them?
um, something that I will share is that I find a coach that's going to work well for you, but never resort to the look of someone. Never compare yourself to somebody also that's on social media and what you want to look like. Because at the end of the day, end of the day, you will look like the person that you want to look like if you're willing to change internally, and make lifestyle changes. Yeah, that's important for me to say, because I just don't want people to think that the most important thing is the outside and what you look like on the outside. It's what you do internally will project what you do on the outside. Yeah, that's probably a huge message from myself to give back to anyone. And on that journey, always surround yourself with the people that are wanting you to do well, and that that you can learn from, you can receive from, and so on. And that's reciprocated.
Yeah, that's a beautiful message. And that's so true. Like surround yourself with people that are gonna do, and how do I say that? Surround yourself with people that want the best for you, because not everyone will want the best for you. Even if you feel like they're your friends, not everyone is your friend, trust me. And you learn that I learned that the hard way, and then you realize, actually, I don't have many friends, and maybe that's okay. Like, you don't have to have 20 friends, you don't need to have 100 friends. As long as you have a group, like a really good group of friends, that's what makes a whole difference, because you know you can rely on them. You know that they're gonna be there to push you. You know that they're gonna be there even if you're like absent for a few weeks because you're working on yourself. They're gonna be there for you no matter what. But thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for sharing everything about your journey. It was really nice talking to you. I know so many people are going to be watching this or listening to this podcast, and they're going to be very inspired with your journey. And I know there's going to be that decision for them to be like, actually, it's my time to get started. And like Mareana said, like, find a coach that you can relate to, find someone that can truly help you. Don't just go by the looks, don't just go by the appearance. Like, find someone that you can connect with as well. Find someone that you like, work with that person, work on yourself, work on your goals, and you just have to put in the work every single day, because the only person that can make it happen, it's yourself. Even if you have a coach, she or he cannot do it for you. Only you can make it work, and only you can make it happen. But thank you once again, Mareana. I don't know why I said Marianne. I'll talk to you guys soon. And as I always say, don't ever stop believing in yourself. Ciao.